All right, so we said it like a couple months ago. They were gonna talk about the Switch 2 when it came out, and I think it's been out for like 4 days now.
Yeah, I want to say it came out on Thursday, so I think we're approaching 5. I think it's
Okay,
like
okay,
today.
so like
Yeah,
4 or 5 days, yeah.
one of the two. It
And
doesn't matter.
we finally have our first thoughts out, and it's still ass, but
Yeah.
regardless, okay.
A small disclaimer, real quick. Neither one of us own it. This is all from stuff we've purely seen online,
Yes,
so we
yes,
can't give you a hands-on opinion.
yes, because
But
I'm also not spending six
yeah,
hundred
we're
dollars.
not. Yeah, we're not spending that.
No. So
uh,
like call us biased or whatever you want. Oh, you didn't buy the Switch 2, you should talk about it. Fair, valid opinion. I'm not spending that amount of money
yeah, this
on
is
a
the internet.
console.
I don't give a fuck. My opinion
Yeah,
goes wherever I want it to go.
exactly. So starting off, just buying the thing, just off rip is like what, 450?
Yeah, so it is 450 for the base Switch 2 and then 500 for the Mario
Oh,
Kart bundle. Um
this isn't
and
real life,
that's not
man.
even getting into the accessories
Yeah,
like like how much does the camera cost of the Switch 2? Because I think that's like another like $40 add-on.
you're joking.
No, I was joking. It's a $55 add-on.
Oh my god. Yo, this is so fucking bored.
And like uh, we'll get more into the camera shit later, right? But
Yeah.
it's the fact that the add-on like it's stupid. Then there's the I think the Joy-Cons like $80 a piece themselves now
Mhm.
too, and I believe the Pro Controller is also like $80.
Mhm.
So like the price of everything has like gone up immensely.
Yeah, what a surprise. Yeah, because at first they were like, well, we have to cancel pre-orders, and they're like, well, we're not going to increase the price of the Switch, but we will increase the price of like all the add-ons and attachments you can get with it. Which, like, I mean, at that point, what the fuck's the point? But I digress. Okay.
Right, and real quick, I was also wrong. The Switch 2 Joy-Cons are $95.
Oh my god!
So you're paying more than you would for a game
You're
for a
right.
controller to play the game now.
Right. You are so much better off just getting an off-brand Joy-Cons or buying Switch One Joy-Cons.
Right, and the problem is like look, I would be so cool for this if the Joy-Cons weren't day one already having
Yes,
drift
yes.
issues.
Okay. If you can put this in the video, but like the video of the Switch day one Switch 2 Joy-Cons drifting, and I don't know if it was real. I don't know if it was real because there could have been another controller on the side, but you can see what kind of controller input it is at the bottom left, and it said it was the Switch, just purely Switch with Joy-Cons. And those bitches were drifting, dog. They were moving. How have we gone to the second generation of the Switch? It's supposed to be the superior console, the end all be all, the oh my god, like this console's so amazing. All that with new specs, new everything. And the main issue, not the only issue, mind you, but the main issue was that those bitches were drifting, which a controller should not do. In like, after like a year, maybe I could see. After like 6 months, I could see. But day one on your new console is drifting is absolutely absurd.
Right, and if this was Nintendo's first handheld, I'd be like, okay, sure, they're bound to make mistakes. But we've had the 3DS before this, the Wii U,
Yes,
the Switch One,
yes.
all consoles with joysticks.
I mean,
And
the Wii Nunchuck, for Christ's
oh yeah, I
sake.
can't forget the Wii Nunchuck, which didn't have drift, by the way.
Didn't have
It
drift.
wasn't a very
I,
common issue.
I was gonna say I could pull out my Nunchuck today, wouldn't have drift, wouldn't
Right,
be an issue.
and even then, like certain like other handhelds on the market, like the Steam Deck, the PlayStation handhelds, the
Yes,
new Xbox handheld they just showed off yesterday during their game showcase.
yes.
Which actually I won't even
Zero.
mention that, but like zero mention of controller drift, right?
You're right. No, I've heard zero issues, zero problems, all that, right?
Right.
It is crazy that we are at a point where companies can just sell faulty products and just make you buy more. Like, I don't even mean this in like a gaming sense, just the capitalist sense. It's just insane.
Now, to give Nintendo the benefit of the doubts, they are fixing Joy Cons now for free if you send it to
Yes.
them. But I think
It's the
I,
principle.
I think like look, even then like sending it to them, isn't it more expensive to mail your Joy-Cons to them
Yes.
than to just
No,
get
no,
a
no.
whole new
Actually,
one?
I think it's just like 20. I think it's like $20 to mail them. But at that point, I don't. You don't know if it's gonna drift again. It's probably gonna drift again.
Right, like I have heard stories with the Switch One where people have mailed their Joy-Cons, they come back and like nothing's changed. It's still
Yes, that
drifting
as
like
well.
crazy.
And to follow up with that, it's using the same piece that was a huge issue for drifting in the Switch One. They didn't change any parts. They didn't. I don't mean like any parts, but they didn't change the main issue that people had with that product, and it's still faulty to the surprise of absolutely nobody. But regardless, okay. Switch 2 is super expensive. You buy it and you just run the risk of having your Joy-Cons drift just because.
Right. And we're talking about the console and all the gear itself. But it's even we're not even talking we haven't got into the price of the games, right?
Right.
Um
Uh,
what warrants Mario Kart World to be $80?
Exactly. And to follow up with that, you know what really pisses me off? The people who are like, well, actually, if you get the Switch 2 bundle, it's not $80, so you're really only paying like $50 for the game. To which I say, I don't give a fuck. I could not care any less that buying a bundle makes it cheaper. The fact of the matter is, if you buy just a Switch 2 on launch, it is an $80 game that you are shilling out the money for. That first of all, it's half baked. I was talking with Tappy about this a couple of days ago. The world's empty. It's just it looks so dead and like yeah. Oh, you drive from place to place. Yeah, like cool. What the hell ever.
Well, and it's like
But
one I'm sorry, you finish.
no, 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 no. All I was gonna say is like it's just so dead inside. It looks soulless, and then they cover that up. I'd be like, oh, but there's like a million characters that you can pick from, which they don't have costume customization. Like it's not an order. It's strictly, and I do mean strictly, just like however it is. Like there's no like, oh, you pick a character and there's costume customization, right?
Hmm.
Like any other game, you scroll through multiple pages to find the specific thing that you are looking for. That is
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah, the menu optimization is horrible, right?
Oh, terrible.
And like I was gonna say, it's one thing to have like an empty esque world in a driving game when the whole point of the game is driving, right?
Right.
But it has to be beautiful and scenic, like Forza does it.
Right. And this isn't saying Mario Kart needs to be just like Forza. Okay, that's not the argument. The whole thing is that if I'm buying a game, especially for $80, it better have like good scenery. It better have it better have a multitude of things. And I've already heard, and this is just rumors. I don't know if this is true or not. I have already heard that they're gonna have a $20 DLC.
So the game's $100.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Oh no!
Yep.
I
I'm
I, I
like,
believe it because
this is
they did it with Mario Kart
absurd.
8 Deluxe.
Oh,
But
yeah, I believe it. I'm just saying, like, absolutely fucking unacceptable from Nintendo. But like, are we even surprised at this point?
I remember when Nintendo used to not do DLC. It was like very rare cases where they had like Smash
like,
Fighters.
and Smash Fighters, I think, are a good example of solid DLC. Perfect, no, but it fundamentally makes sense. You're paying for a premium character or whatever, okay? And they give a pass that you can just have all the fighters. Okay, right. But for a racing game, if I'm buying a racing game, all of the racing aspects should be there when I buy it.
Well, it's like not only is it a racing game, it's a racing game with the same formula that they've had for decades
Exactly.
now.
Oh, but there's grinding. Doug, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. First of all, the grinding mechanic is just a complete ass. Like, I'm sorry, it adds nothing.
Yeah, like ooh
It,
wow, a new shortcut.
right. The anti-gravity from 8 and 8 Deluxe at least added something relatively interesting, I
It
would
was it
say.
was more scenic because it was accessible to multiple parts of the stage.
Well, that and it allowed different, like you could go upside down on a stage or underwater upside down on a stage. It offered different perspective and different locations and offered a fresh perspective on what you can and can't do with a Mario Kart map because it could really be the world's the oyster, you know? It
Hmm.
can be anything you really want it to be. And the fact of the matter is, the new game just does not compare to it at all. And I would argue, we say, especially with the DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and how you only need one person in a group of 12 to have that DLC, it is still way better to be playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe than it is Mario Kart World.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, it actually makes me wonder if they're gonna keep the same. One person needs to own blank for everyone to enjoy it. Do with
For
Mario Kart.
World,
Yeah, with yeah for World.
I doubt it, just because Nintendo.
I think it's less so because Nintendo, but more so because it's open world, and
Well, that
they don't want to
too.
give people access to stuff they don't own in an open world environment.
Ooh. And to further the whole like whether a Switch is better than a Switch 2, let me put this in perspective, okay? The Switch 1 is terrible, okay? But at the very least, games aren't number one, games aren't $80. It's $60 for Tears of the Kingdom. It's $60 for Breath of the Wild.
You
It's
know, the Tears of the
$60
Kingdom was
for,
70.
all those games, okay? Mario, Zelda, even Metroid Dread, right? Versus the Switch 2 that we're talking about baseline $80. And Donkey Kong Bonanza is only $70. It's completely missing the point. It is still above $60, which is just the standard for gaming. And to that point, with everything, with the prices being raised and all that, we've already seen Xbox. Yeah, we're raising prices too. And PlayStation completely out of left field said, screw you guys. We're sitting here and we're gonna lower our prices, which in fairness, PlayStation had already raised their prices before. So like it's kinda like
Yeah, I
a little
mean,
back to
they had
normal.
they
So
had the
like
$1,000 console.
yeah, right. But I mean it's the principle. They lowered their prices
They're
because
working on becoming
that's just good
consumer friendly
business.
in
Yeah,
an
right.
environment where stuff is becoming less consumer friendly every single
Right.
day.
Exactly. And it just astounds me that, especially, and this is to all you Nintendo meat riders out there, it astounds me how much you guys would just bounce on a company that does not care about you or your wants. You guys just settle for the absolute bare minimum.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah. Like I like. Did you have you seen the people reacting to like 60 FPS Pokemon Scarlet and Violet?
Yes, and everybody's like super happy and hype about it. I'm like, dog, you guys are cheering for something that should have been there on launch day.
Yeah, like look, not even launch day, but like at least when that second wave of DLC came out, right? Like that's when I expect the game
Yes,
to be fixed. You made
yes.
me pay $60 for not even like 20
Plus DLC,
hours of DLC content.
mind you, plus DLC, $60 plus
Yeah,
DLC,
well, that's what I was
mind you.
mentioning. Like the $60 part that was the
Oh
DLC packs
yeah,
initially, right? So in total,
I got
120,
you.
more than the
Yeah,
Mario Kart bullshit. And
right. Which again, absurd that if I'm buying a game, okay, especially single player game, and I know Pokemon isn't just single player, but like the main experience is single player, okay? The end of the day, it's single player. I should not be paying DLC. Have it be post game content. Look at Black and White, Black 2 and White 2. I don't think Diamond and Pearl had that much of a post game, but X and Y had at least some sort of post
even
game.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver had like an astonishing amount of
Yes,
post
the
game.
the entire other region, and I think it had the Frontier
Well,
Brains.
it had all that. Then it had like content from like Gen 3 and Gen 4 thrown into it because it was a remake.
Exactly, right. And I'm just like, and we're living in a day and age where if that had been a game that came out today, that extra content would have been had a price tag
Right.
attached to it.
I mean, we've seen stuff like that now where it's like even like Persona 3 Reload did that with Episode I, guess, which was originally a
Yes,
part of P3P, anyways. But
yes.
like
But I
it's
mean, like,
becoming like a
at,
company
at
standard.
least, at least, at the very least, with Persona, I can argue, you know what? Okay, they had their whole game, they remade their whole game, and then they added extra content at the end. Should it have already been there originally? You could make an argument for that, but you're already getting a one like. you're getting like a 100-hour experience
Right, like
for like
you're getting the money's worth per
you're
dollar.
right already just for the base game. Like you don't have to buy a DLC. You can watch a playthrough of it. You don't really have it. It takes you out of the immersion. Yes. Is it the end of the world? No. And to that extent, I'll say it's not that big of a deal if you don't want to buy the DLC because you've already put out that $60. Which again, if you're buying on Steam, you can buy it while it's on sale for like $30, $35. But I digress. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's not the point I'm trying to make. But I digress. You can buy the $60 game, go and play it, and at the end of the day, you still get 100 hours worth of content. That you're more than getting your money's worth. Even if it was only 60 hours, $1 an hour, I feel like is acceptable.
Right, and you know that's a problem with the Nintendo games. It's like Donkey Kong Bonanza, for example, right? It's gonna.
That looks like a 30-hour game at
I don't even
most.
think 30 hours. I'm gonna go with like 15
I
to
was being generous with like
like 10 or
post
15.
game or
Maybe.
like
I don't even think.
50% or whatever.
I don't know. We have to wait. I'll have to wait and see the replayability
Yeah,
options because like Mario
yeah.
Odyssey got way more than it should have, just because people did
Which
like challenges and stuff.
again, crazy as shit. That you know, people are freaking out also about Mario Odyssey in 60 FPS. Absolutely absurd. But so
I,
it's the whole argument of people being like, what should have been there in the first. And I'm not saying okay. This isn't me saying every single game, especially like third party games or I'll just say like indie games or anything, right? Shouldn't maybe not have been 60 FPS if it couldn't handle it. But your main series games, your Zelda, your I think Metroid Dread was 60 FPS. I'm actually pretty sure.
I do not
But
remember.
your Zelda, your everything, your Mario game. The fact that you guys are getting excited over 60 FPS, which is just an industry standard from like the PS3
Hmm.
of all things, is absurd. I don't know how people get excited for the bare minimum.
Yeah, and it's like not only that, but like even like modern games still coming out on the Xbox One and like PS4 are still managing to
Yes,
like push like 50 to 60 frames most of the time.
yes. It just amazes me that people are like, oh, well, but you know, I can pay. And to that extent, once again, you have to pay more money on a game you've already bought to get the 60 FPS version. So you're still paying the $80 that they want you to pay, and you're eating it up.
Well,
You, and like, I was excited, okay, when the Switch 2 first got announced and they said that they were doing like Switch 2 upgrades for certain games. If you know anything about me, I'm the biggest fan of The Thousand Year Door, okay? That is one of my favorite games of all time, arguably my favorite game of all time. And I saw that, okay, you know, a $10 upgrade or whatever, upgrade pack, and I can play my favorite game of all time at 60 FPS, which was my biggest issue with it when it first came out. Then you're telling me I have to buy a $450 Switch too, which, okay, like I said, okay, fair price. But then you tell me that any other game I buy besides that, if I want an upgrade pack, is also another $10 of the 60 I already paid for it. Again, paying $80 for a game on the Switch too. And then you're telling me that if I want to buy any Switch games, because extends to Tomodachi Life, to Metroid Prime 4, to all of these like huge title games, you're telling me I have to shovel out 70, but let's be honest, $80 to buy these new games
yeah,
when, you know, perfectly again, Switch 1 $60 and it was a worse FPS. You're telling me I have to pay $80. First of all, if I just want the Switch 2 edition, it's $80. Number two, if I already have the Switch 1 version, why would I not get a free upgrade? I already bought the game. And the Kirby DLC for like Forgotten Land and stuff like that has extra content when you upgrade the game, okay? That, you know, I can somewhat understand. I can somewhat make an excuse like, oh, I'm buying it for the DLC, whatever. That's why it costs money. Why is a game I already bought that you're not adding anything to except quality of life FPS that should have been there in the first place? Cannot stress that enough. And you're adding it like it's some sort of new thing and charging number one, $80 for it if you don't own it, and you're making me pay $80 total for it if I do own it. There is no plus side for something that should have already been there.
Well, I think like, and no, to continue off what you were saying, I think the biggest crook of this whole thing is the original Breath of the Wild for the Wii U. That
But it's 60 FPS.
well, it's like not only that, but the game has they haven't upgraded it since the Wii U, right?
Right,
It's releasing again on the Switch 2. And
right.
keep in mind, they haven't added anything to it. And now it went from $60 to $70. And that's not even upgrading it. That is if you want to buy the game now.
Right. Well, actually, they added a map on your phone, and you can see where stuff is. Yeah, you know where else I can see a map where stuff is? The internet
Right.
with a Google search.
And it's like, it's on top of it all, it is like the DLC for the game is still $20. I have
Oh,
to
the
pay.
master mode.
Mm-hmm. I had to
Oh
pay
my god.
$90 for a full experience of a game that is like a decade old now. And I'll see if I can like find the picture and put it in the video. But the graphic comparison from the Wii U to the Switch 2 is like they added a few more blades of grass.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Why am I paying $10 more for some fucking blades of grass?
I don't know, man. Grass is really important.
Like, ooh! Wow, look at me. The rub against Link's leg hair that he doesn't have.
Oh my god, Pant. Like, it is just absurd that people still warrant buying the Switch 2 with all of these things. And okay. So before the console like came out, before I was like, you know what? $80 is absurd. Let me wait until it comes out and I'll make like an actual argument for it. Like I'll see if I actually want it. And then I just see all these issues day one. Not only just day one, okay. Just issues in general with people getting their Switch to the New York stapling incident at the GameStop. People getting their screen stapled, which kind of deserved, but I'm also not going to make fun because I know that's gotta be very painful.
Oh, I would have been pissed
But
if my $500 investment just.
oh my god, got stapled, absurd. But and with everything being launched, I was just like, I can't warrant supporting this. Like, it is just not something worth supporting in the sense of why put all my money in when it just does not matter in the slightest. I'm paying exorbitant amounts of money for nothing. For nothing. Like, there is nothing on the Switch 2 worth buying. Because guess what? The launch titles were some of the weakest launch titles I think I've ever seen ever from any company.
Besides Xbox, they don't have launch titles anymore.
Oh yeah, oh my god, Xbox, what are you doing?
At least
dog?
Xbox can play its games. All right, whatever small
True.
library it has.
True. But come on, X, don't worry, Xbox. We already dug in you the last time we talked about this. Nintendo's just going on full blast for this one.
Right.
But I digress. Okay.
One of my big problems with the Switch 2 launch, right, is
Mhm.
it has all these new features like like the mouse Joy-Cons.
Yes.
Which
I want to make a point on real quick. If you see the video of somebody trying to use the mouse Joy-Cons for Fortnite, because besides that and Deltarune are like the only thing it's compatible with right now, to my knowledge.
right, and so
it's
just like really when you have all these cool features on an upgraded console. Why not like PlayStation made a tech demo, Astro's Playroom, to showcase all of the cool features on the
Right.
on the controller? Why did Nintendo not do the same thing with this innovative Switch hardware?
They did.
I'm not buying the like $15. It was like how expensive was that shit? Hold on.
I think it was $20. I'm pretty sure. Check it, but I think it was like $20 for a tech demo. For a tech demo.
Tech demo. Yeah, like PlayStation was free, by the way. Just
Right.
spoiler alert.
Tech demo being $20. I can't even call it absurd because at that point it's just
Yeah,
diabolical.
okay. It was $10, but for the principle of the matter, why would I buy?
Yes.
Why would I get a tech demo for something I already paid $450 for?
Right.
Um,
And to that extent, another big thing that I hate about the Switch 2 is the lack of safety at all. There is no safety. If you want to get your console repaired, okay, and I see this coming now, I'm calling this in advance because we've already seen somebody has already tried to like, hack the Switch 2 and everything and like plugged it into their PC trying to boot files and it got bricked. Okay, that makes fundamental sense. We'll get into that later, but that makes fundamental sense, right?
Mhm.
I have also heard that somebody apparently had plugged it into, I don't know if it was their computer or like a wall. They used like a different um charging cable and their Switch got bricked. And I don't know if this is true. Obviously, I cannot confirm this at all. I'm going purely off of what I'm hearing. My point is, when stuff starts to break, you're not going to want to send it to Nintendo, who's going to charge you. Well, actually, it's $150 because they're the only ones who can repair it. It's Apple syndrome, right? And I worry that, especially with like the Joy-Cons and stuff, I'm less worried about the Joy-Cons, obviously. They're a separate category. But trying to get like your Switch fixed if there's a cracked screen or if there's like internal damage or stuff like that, and you go to give it to repair and it's going to come back bricked. And they're going to be like, well, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't have done whatever. And as well as that, there was something else about like people's consoles getting bricked, and I forgot what it was about.
SD cards. That were
Yes,
foreign.
yes, the foreign SD cards that were bricking consoles. Again, don't know if it's true, but there have been some stories about it that I've seen, and I'm just like, you just first of all, it deserved. Why'd you buy a Switch 2, sucker? Um, but in addition, I'm just like, it is just so absurd what this company can get away with because people just refuse to not buy. It's like an addiction.
Well, that's why people compare them to Disney adults. They have to support their
They're slop.
yeah. They're just like re-released slop every time it comes out.
It's just, it's just disgusting. Like, straight up, it's just gross. And this isn't me saying that Nintendo at its core is a bad company. I think they have a solid selection of games, but they're overpriced. Their consoles are the problem. And like I said, the Switch 2 was priced so fairly. The actual console price was priced extremely fairly, and you could at least reason it out. Is 450 a little absurd? Yes. At the end of the day, yes. Okay, it's a little absurd. But, with all the quote unquote improvements that they were making, you could reasonably buy a Switch 2, right? And then you're going to tell me you're raising the prices of games. Oh, well, it's because of the tariffs. Oh, it's because of whatever. I'm sorry. I thought Nintendo of America existed, so why does it matter?
Oh yeah,
You should.
yeah. Hold on, that didn't even occur to me. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have an American branch.
Yes, they literally have a whole Nintendo of America, not South America, not Canada, North America. They have a branch. Have them released through that area so that you don't get hit with tariffs if that's your big issue. No, you want to make money. You're gonna blame the tariffs and you're gonna upcharge people.
Wait,
The same reason with Xbox. The same reason again. Same reason why I was really surprised that PlayStation said they're gonna lower prices. But it's a competition and they're winning. I'm sorry. I've said it before and I'll say it again. PlayStation won the console wars hands down.
right? You could tell the tariff shit was a sham too when like digital prices for games were affected. Like why was
Not only that, physical prices. Why is it more expensive to go in
well,
person?
okay. I understand the physical shit just because they have to they have to ship it across
Oh,
seas or
you
whatever.
poor
But why
thing.
is the game digitally still another $10 than it should be? That doesn't make
Yes.
any sense. I'm paying for it digitally. It is on the
Right.
download card.
Yes. Speaking of, okay, before we get to all the issues with like not owning your stuff, I want to go back to the whole like emulation point from earlier. Now, this is not us saying that we support emulation
Oh no,
because,
definitely not. Ooh.
yeah, no, not at all. But, however, there is no legal precedent that you cannot emulate games that you already own. There is no legal precedent that says you can't emulate games that you already own because you physically own them. And that being said, if you have games that you own, cough cough, which again, this is going to link back, this is going to be important later, so pay attention. If you have games that you own, you are, by law, since there is no legal precedent, you are allowed to emulate these games, okay?
Mm-hmm. Well,
And that'll, like I said, that'll be important for later. And to that extent, why does it matter once you've purchased the game what you do with it? If you're not selling it out for free, okay, because, copyright, okay, can kind of understand. But if you own the game, why does it matter? What you do with your copy of your game that you purchased and that you own.
because according to the new ULEA, whatever the fuck it's called, you do not own your game. We do.
Yeah,
We're
or
just renting
console.
it out to you.
Yeah, which is absurd because this is some dystopian shit that we are entering into. But before that, real quick, the new game chat button.
Oh, you mean the $20 fee button?
Let you be the $20 lag switch. First of all, why do you have to pay to talk to your friends?
That's not my problem.
beyond
It's the fact I have
me.
to pay to use something on my already $500 console.
Not only that, you have to pay for the internet with $20 for what I'm guessing is still a shitty subscription service. You're paying $20 for Wi-Fi, bare minimum, not counting if you want GameCube games and SNES games
That's
and
another
all
$20
that.
on that.
Right. Actually, I think it's 50 for that, but I'm pretty sure it's 50. But please, if I'm wrong, I want to be told I'm wrong.
You can just keep talking while I go find it.
But not only are you paying that much money for Wi-Fi, and if you want bonus content, right? You're also paying another $20 to use that online service. You know what's wild? Pay the $20. Cough cough if you own any of these, GameCube games, if you own any of these SNES games, GBA games, you can legally emulate them since you own them. Nintendo, if you don't agree to Nintendo's new EULA, you can do that. You're legally obligated to. And to that matter, even if you do agree to the EULA, you are still not legally binded with any of the past series games because it is still just for the Switch and Switch 2. I don't even know if it's for the Switch, but I'm just benefit of the doubt. You are still not held liable for any previous games that you already own. They cannot stop you from, emulating games you legally own. Anyway, but I digress. Okay.
Right.
You're paying $20 for the VC. You know it's free? I use free very lightly because you know how much I dislike them sometimes. Discord. Discord's free. I mean, shit. We're recording this episode on Discord. We are not in person.
Yep.
It's free. You know what I can do on Discord? I can share my damn screen. You know what else I can do on Discord? Connect my Switch to an HDMI cord and like Elgato or whatever and stream from my PC for free to more people because people who don't have the Switch 2 can still look at my streams and it's still a solid 30 FPS and it will not dip in quality. The literal Switch 2 that again you pay subscription to use game chat for and to actually have like voice chat in game. Not only does it lag if you try to screen share, the microphone that you get for the Switch 2 sounds god-awful, and because I'm still not done, and I can't make this up, trying to screen share on the Switch 2 looks even worse than if you just stream at the lowest quality on Discord, which keep in mind is 30 FPS and 720p, and Nintendo couldn't even do that right.
Yeah, and it's the scummy fact that they forced you into buying their $55 camera.
Just because, they increased the price on that since an accessory. But, which is, the camera is also ass.
Yeah. I mean, like, don't, because please, for the love of God, if you bought the Switch 2, do not try to plug your own shit in. It will get bricked. Like, do not plug your own webcam in. Do not plug your own mic in.
Right.
Because your $500 investment will go right to the fucking
Yeah,
brick bin.
and you're risking it. You're taking a big risk. It might not break, but it could break, and the fact that it could break is enough of a deterrent. Unless you want to have a $500 paperweight. So
Paperweight. Yeah. And also to just come back to the Switch thing, online thing, because we were talking about it. Yeah, you were right. It is $50 a year for like the big plan,
yeah,
and then it's $20 for the base plan.
yeah. Which
But all the shit they
$20
lock behind the $50 plan is absurd.
right? Oh, like I could guess what I could buy. Xbox. What is it? Xbox Live or
The
whatever.
Game
Or
Pass.
Yeah, Game Pass. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, I can buy Game Pass for a year and have access to a bunch of different games that I can play with my friends, mind you, and a huge giant library of old games that are old. Why am I paying an extra $30? And keep in mind, we're comparing 1 month to one. I think there's like a 3 month plan for the other one, and it's like 20 something dollars. I don't
It's
remember.
still a scam, dog. Like,
It's still, yeah.
I mean, they're
There's
just doing what they don't want us to do. It's all emulated onto the Switch, anyways.
yes, which is crazy. They emulated their own games, and it's still a worse quality than actual emulated games.
And they know their fan base is so bad at fucking games that they put that rewind bullshit into all of their emulators too.
Yes, which I don't so much mind the rewind button. I think that is a good feature. But for the love of God, like the fact that you're emulating your own games, again, cannot stress enough. If you already own any era of game from Wii U or before, you are legally allowed to emulate this. I want to make that a strong point. There is no legal precedent that you cannot emulate your own games. Okay, I'm hammering that home because it is something that, once you learn, it is like very important to know your rights with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But I digress, okay? My big thing with legality with this is that my other thing with game chat, with the $80 prices, with anything, with the new EULA. Wow, I can't English. I'm kind of spasming low key. I think I'm tweaking out a little too hard.
Easy, I can Switch 2 right now.
With everything with the EULA, you are not allowed to file or join a class action lawsuit if you agree to this EULA, which is not legal, by the way. They legally cannot stop you from doing a class action lawsuit. But it's Nintendo. God knows they're gonna try to get away with it. Not only can they not stop you from entering a class action lawsuit, they cannot force you by law to agree to something that waives your rights in the amendment. I forgot which amendment it is. It might be, I think it's like 7th or 8th or something.
I don't
But
know. I don't study America.
I don't either. But regardless, they cannot have you waive your rights in a binding contract, quote unquote binding, because it's bullshit. But yeah, I digress. But still, my point is, number one, know your rights. Number two, if there's a class action lawsuit filed, you best believe I'm fucking getting in there like swimwear. You do not abandon your rights. Do not let them try to manipulate you into, number one, buying their product, forcing you to agree to their product, and letting them just remotely take away from you. And it is with that I'm so happy that we are already well on our way to the first steps of breaking into the Switch 2 and being able to emulate stuff for it. But again, you're allowed to legally emulate stuff you own. Can't stress that enough. But we've already gotten some glitched screens, that stuff that shouldn't be there on the Switch 2. It is only a matter of time before the Switch 2 hackers figure out how to emulate stuff, and I'm beyond happy for people.
Yeah, once they can get past the bricking phase, they're kind of unstoppable. It's just time commitment.
Yeah. And just don't update your Switch, turn off your Wi-Fi, don't update your Switch, and we'll be there sooner or later. So Nintendo can get, like I said before, Nintendo can get away with these prices because they know, number one, people are going to buy because people are suckers. I mean, the Switch 2 sold out. And yeah, a lot of this was probably scalpers and stuff like that, but the Switch 2 still sold out, okay, before launch day. Although people are still finding a lot of them at Walmarts and Targets and stuff like that, which I find hilarious.
Yeah, you didn't see this happening with the PS5, and it was actually legitimately sold out everywhere.
Yeah, Exactly. Exactly. It's just I'm praying that this console just falls on its face and fails. It would heal my soul so much.
Yeah, yeah, because the Switch 2 is getting what the Wii U deserved. The Wii U didn't deserve to
Yeah.
fail.
Dog, the Wii U was an actual like I don't want to say great, but it was definitely not. It was a solid
It was an
console.
actual innovation on an already good product,
Yes, yes.
whereas the
The
Switch
Wii
2
was
is just
great. It's
a
just
product.
shit. Ugh, that's generous.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can get away with. They can get away with it. People are gonna buy, and it's miserable. The greatest thing that you can do is not buy. If you don't like the prices, if you don't like what they're doing with the EULA, if you don't like how they handle their customers, don't buy it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, your stuff might not matter because there are too many people who are just like, well, I want it. And if you don't buy it, or you don't want it, or you just can't afford it, or you just don't, whatever, right? There's going to be people who just hate on you to hate on you. Okay. If you don't want to support them, don't support them. Don't give them your money. Don't give anybody your money that you worked hard for something that they clearly do not give a literal shit about you about. Steam will recover your account in an hour.
Yeah.
Steam will refund a game that you've probably put in like 100 hours. This is extreme, obviously, but they will refund a game that you put 100 hours into because I really didn't like it and I didn't enjoy it, and despite how long I played this, it really didn't vibe with me. Yeah, sure, we can get you a refund on that.
Yeah, I'm actually working on getting my refund for Arc Ascended. I have 300 hours in the game.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's stuff like that. Don't, and this isn't like a Steam promotion or anything. Although I do think Steam, if you're gonna buy from anywhere, buy from Steam. Your favorite games, I guarantee you, are 50% off sometime. Take the time, take the effort. If you, I love Steam. Find somebody who cares about you. Find somebody who is worth your money.
yeah. Before the Nintendo Miiverse come and say, well, if you buy from Steam, you don't own your game because it's online. It's the same with Switch 2. And you actually
Yeah,
you
number
bought the game
one.
physically for a fucking game key.
Number
How does
one.
it make you
Number
feel?
two. Number two. Guess what else I can do with quote unquote not owning my game? Mod it.
Yeah, I can mod it. I can illegally upload
Easily.
it if I wanted to.
Yeah,
And give it to
right.
others. Like,
I could do what the fuck else I want
I
with
can actually
it
screen
with
share it
no
without it
issue.
lagging.
Yeah, exactly. I think the modding is the biggest part. You know what I can't do with the original Switch One or Switch Two or any of its games? Mod it. Oh, you can mod your Switch. Well, that goes against the EULA actually.
Yeah.
So can't mod your Switch. Sorry, man, it's a brick now. Hey, but not only do I have that on my PC. Okay, this is an example. I don't actually have any Switch 2 games on my PC. No, I'm not a
It's
pirate.
impossible to get them anywhere right now.
You're right,
So,
exactly. So, but guess what? I have your Switch 2 game on here, and I just modded it, and you can't do it. Guess what? My PC didn't brick. Nice try, though. Stay safe out
oh
there.
yeah, that new Pokemon game, Legend ZA. Yeah, I got it for free actually. It's an
Uh,
alright title.
But you see my point. I'm just like it's at a point where number one, people are just gonna not care because the biggest thing you can do is piss off your clientele because all they're gonna do is go and emulate it. They're just gonna go and emulate it. As soon as that Switch 2 emulation comes out, it's wraps. Okay, it's beyond over. ZA's fucked. Any other Switch launch title is fucked. Okay, and to further that. Duck. I can mod my games on Steam and not be banned, not be. I modded Stardew Valley. I modded. I mean, for God's sakes, I modded fucking Among Us. Okay, with no issues because nobody cares if there is quality of life or there is something that you want to improve on or whatever. As long as it is not like a live service online game, they do not give a flying fuck, especially for single player games. And I mean, even Among Us, which again is a multiplayer game and a live service one at that, literally has mods that improve the game so much. And yeah, does NSFlock not like it? Yeah, but they don't actively go out of their way and cease and desist anybody.
Right.
Stop me if you've heard that word before.
Yeah, like even Hoyo is like against modding, but as long as
You're right.
like, you're not like actively cheating, They will ban
Yes.
you unless someone reports your
And
UID.
that I was gonna say that, or so you're showing off your UID, like they, and which from a gotcha company, absolute cinema, first of all, and number two, the fact that a live service gotcha company primarily doesn't care unless you're showing off says so much about the state of gaming as it comes to Nintendo. I mean, do not forget when everybody, the Smash community was getting cease and desisted left and right because they had a modded, what was it, Project M, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, Project M at a service for like, it's a game, like it's a game that people are going to be playing here because, they enjoy, okay, I'm an idiot, because they enjoy the game. They enjoy it and improved upon it, and now they're going to have a turn. Well, no, actually, hi, I'm Mr. Nintendo here. No, you can't do that with our game. And actually, we're cease and desisting your entire tournament with people who are going to fly out and actually play the games that we enjoy from this community. No, you're not allowed to do that.
It's abysmal what Nintendo sues over. Like
It
from
really
something like
is.
Pixelmon where like they're not even making money from it. It's a free mod
Yes.
to
Yes.
Power World, who
Oh my.
the game's identity has been fucking nuked.
Yeah.
It's not even the same game anymore.
Yeah, because actually we reserve the right to on games where you capture friends at a fall or whatever, which stupidest fucking argument I've heard. But Nintendo ninjas just have a way of magically winning in court. So what can I say?
It's,
No, okay. At the end of the day, you don't own your console and you don't own your game. If you buy the Switch 2, you're buying a license. If you buy the Switch 2 games, it's a key. It is a download key. You download it from the internet. You need internet to download it. You do not own any of your games. Absurd. And I don't want to hear anything about Steam being the same because, quite frankly, I don't give a shit. It's the principle. And again, I can mod my games. You can't. Ha ha ha. You're a sad piece of shit.
there's an argument for like all the consoles where it's like, oh, but you don't buy any of your games. Actually, you can still buy discs for PS5 and Xbox.
You're right.
Like people choose to get them off the store because of convenience.
Yeah. Well, and that and like, yeah, do you not own your stuff on, or do you not have a disk drive and you have to buy it separately? Yeah, but the option is still available. Is the entire principle.
Right, and that's only if you buy the disc driveless version of their console.
Right.
Which at that point, that's your fault anyway.
Right. For buying that. But the fact that you don't own anything and they can remotely brick your console just because they do not need a reason, they can just do it. I think the funniest thing ever, like a couple months from now, let's say just like Metroid Prime 4 is going to come out, right? Metroid Prime 4 is about to come out. You got like a couple days left, and then Nintendo just remotely bricks everybody's console. And or what happens if hackers get into wherever they control bricking consoles? That is another thing that I do not see enough people talking about. And I don't know if it's possible because if it's like a server hosted by just like a server, like you can go in here, oh, this Switch is acting up, whatever. Could a hacker go in there and remotely brick everybody's console if they get access?
I think if hackers have, and they've proven like they can take down like Xbox services and PlayStation services.
Yes,
they can
100%.
easily can go into like
I
a
100% think they could brick Nintendo.
Yeah,
Which would heal my soul, man. And I'm not saying I want this to happen because that would actually be, I would feel bad for people as much as I could, I guess. I would feel bad for people. But on the other hand, I would probably like cry of laughter.
yeah. No, that's actually thinking about that now. That's probably gonna happen in the next like, year or so.
Yeah. With how like prominent Nintendo made it sound like they were going to be bricking consoles, and how we've seen people already getting bricked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because of the fact that they're so actively involved in bricking consoles that that makes it sound like it's possible instead of just being an AI system.
Yeah. And I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me. And yeah, like I said, people are going to just be like, oh, well, other companies do it too, and there haven't been any issues. There won't be any hackers. There won't be any issues. Number one, you don't know that. It's been out for 5 days. And number two, You underestimate the pettiness of hackers. If there is a petty enough hacker, they will just brick shit to brick shit. Especially if it sounds as readily available as it is with Nintendo.
Yeah, it's the fact that, again, Nintendo sounds so hands-on with the bricking.
Yes.
Whereas other companies, they don't even talk about the bricking like that. They didn't make it a big deal. Like,
because they don't care. You have to like really fuck up to have Xbox or PlayStation burn your shit.
I've seen some crazy modified PlayStations and Xboxes.
With zero issue, mind you. I just.
Oh yeah, don't mod your Switch though. Please don't mod your Switch, otherwise that shit is fucking gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Just if you do mod your Switch, Wi-Fi off. Do not download any updates. Don't want to hear it. Okay, nothing should be updated. Okay.
We have to be fair, to let everyone know, we have warned you now 3 different times to be careful with your shit. We are not responsible for anything that happens. Do not take ideas to heart.
But we are literally just yapping on the internet.
Against the Switch. Take our ideas to heart.
Yeah. You're legally like, you can't stress this enough. You're legally allowed to emulate games you own. There's no legal precedent. Saying that for like the 4th time now. That is legal. They cannot stop you. Anyway, just should you buy the Switch 2? I mean, I don't know how more obvious we can make it. Don't fucking buy the Switch 2, dog. It is so not worth the money. The amount of money that you'd have to spend on it to make it worth, especially with all these big titles. Again, $80 coming out. It's just so unreasonably expensive. To put that in perspective, Deltarune that released on the Switch, $25 for chapters for 2 more chapters, and you're going to get all the other chapters for free, and chapters 1 and 2 were already free. You didn't even have to pay for that. I cannot stress this, and this isn't me like, because quite frankly, I get why Toby did it. You know, work with Nintendo, there's a launch day as a special feature, all that. Okay, I respect hell of that, Toby Fox, you beautiful creature, but love you, Toby. But my main thing was just that the fact that Toby can release a game for $25 and in the newsletter says, oh yeah, this is the price that I feel it should be. We're talking about Toby Fox, man, the Undertale creator. Okay, same guy. And he's like, yeah, I think this is the fair price because this is what it should be. It's just insane.
He could easily charge $60 for that game. People, it would still fly off the virtual shelves.
It would. It crashed Steam. It's a surprise of nobody, but it crashed Steam. I mean, I don't know what for. And this the same guy literally says, yeah, I don't. This is what I think it's worth. Even charge $40, I would probably buy it once it went on sale. The fact that $25 is crazy. But I digress. Don't buy the Switch 2. It's not worth it. Get on Steam. Not sponsored. Not anything. Steam loves you. Steam cares about you. They actually put in effort for their consumers because they know how much of a cesspool gaming is right now. Okay. Trust me. I would much. It's a lot safer to put your hands into Steam, who gives sales, who gives all these things, than it is to just balls at the wall, blindly trust Nintendo, and then shell out $2,000 for everything that it's offering. Okay. At the end of the day, but with your wallet, if you don't support Switch 2, don't give them your money. Don't give them your time. Don't give them anything that you earned.
No, it truly is that simple. Because they are really forcing you into the Nintendo economy with this console, with all of the accessories and other bullshit. You need to own
EULA
to
and
enjoy
everything.
your console. Do not buy it. Don't buy the camera. Don't buy the Pro controller. Don't buy the GameCube controller.
Right. Don't buy it.
Yeah. It's not even if you care about gaming at this point. It's if you care about yourself.
Yes, I was to say, forget gaming. The point is not gaming is dying. Gaming is a dying industry. Okay, it is. Be careful with who you give the time of day to. And with that being said, don't buy it. Okay, but the biggest thing about the Switch 2 is like a weak launch category. Okay, weak launch titles. Doesn't even have Bonanza. You're telling me you only had one game available? keep in mind, Switch has been out for 10 years. You had one game available. That's my biggest thing. Nintendo, do better. It's as simple as that. Lower your price, lower the console to 400, and make games. I don't know. Actually, no, you don't even have to lower the price of the console. Like I said, 450 is a fair price. Lower the price of your games. There's nothing wrong with 60. I mean, like I said, I told you this, Tappy. If they did 60 FPS still, I would have bought the console. Or 60, not 60 FPS, $60 for games. I would have still bought the console. Willingly. It's the fact that they don't care. Nintendo does not care about you. Nintendo cares about making money.
No, after how they've presented themselves this year, there's not a thing in the world make me buy this game. You can really Gotcha Life 2, not a chance. The Gen 5 remakes, which are inevitable at this point, not fucking happening. This is the least consumer-friendly console I've ever seen.
Yes, agree. And like I told you, I was like, like I said, I wasn't trying to hammer. I just want to hammer this point home. Okay, it is important to me that people know that they are not cared about. Okay, don't put your money. Do not put your hands or your money into a place where people cannot care less about you. I don't want people losing their money. I don't want people getting their consoles bricked. I don't want people losing out on the chance to be able to buy something else. Even an $800 PC gets more value. I want you to hammer it home. And again, don't support emulation. You are legally allowed since there's no legal precedent. It varies by state. Check your local laws. There's no legal precedent that you can't emulate games that you own. Okay. Don't forget that. I think that's everything I wanted to hammer home for me. Is there anything else you want to add before we?
I just want to nitpick if you switch me Rider comments.
Feel free.
One of them is about the Nintendo and like all that. They used to have $80 games back in like the 1900s. Into that, I say, wages were very affordable back then. You could go to your local McDonald's and flip burgers for a few hours and live off of that wage single-handedly all by yourself. Whereas now, people with like jobs where they're making like 50 grand are still struggling to survive single-handedly.
Basic necessities, yeah.
Right, like food's a problem, housing is a problem, bills are a problem. The games were acceptable back then because everything was consumer friendly. And actually, I think that's the only comment I just want to nitpick.
No, I think that's a perfectly valid statement and a perfectly valid way to feel. A lot of the Nintendo meat riders are just on my nerves specifically just because, like, you know your console shit. You have to know your console shit. I cannot believe that you are just so blissfully unaware as it comes to your, number one, your legal rights. And you guys just eat up the bare minimum. Like I said, the launch titles, why are you guys excited over 60 FPS and 1080p when that should have been the bare minimum?
Yes. Like, I actually do want to hit this real quick. Game Freak. I'll put the screenshot in the video as well. I don't know if you saw it in Izzy's Discord, but I shared it's in general chat. I shared like a screenshot, of a game made by Game Freak next to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and that it shows what Game Freak is capable of when they're not rushed to make slop every year. And so
I think I know which one you're talking about now.
Right, yeah. I mean, it just further proves that Nintendo is the problem, consistently every single time.
Yes.
They don't care anymore. They haven't cared in a while when half the Switch's library is fucking remakes and remasters.
Yes, which I think is a huge issue. Is if you want your own identity, be your own person. And I'm not. This isn't saying I'm against remakes or remasters, but like, come on.
Yeah.
When most of your library are just remakes and remasters for games that are like years old, mind you. You come on. Be better.
Not even Microsoft is doing this. They'll happily admit they're not making a game instead of remastering and rebooting.
You're right.
All their old titles. Like I just look back at Nintendo fondly, you know, like when we were kids.
Yeah.
And
it's just like
everything used to be like the 3DS is like a $200 console, and I
But
got
which
hundreds
the
of hours.
2DS? Yeah, I was gonna say the 2DS and 3DS were expensive, but at least it was somewhat worth it.
Well, okay, actually, let me double check on the prices. 'Cause I do think for
Because the games I think were like $30 or $40. I'm not even joking with you. I believe the 3DS games were like $30 or $40.
Oh, my fault. The original 2DS, right, which still played with the 3DS head, was $130.
Oh my god! Dog, I actually just started drooling a little bit. I'm not even gonna hold you. Oh my, $130 is a day of work, dog.
Well, and the original 3DS was actually more expensive than we made it out to be. It was $250. The retail price says.
I mean, still, you're better off getting like a 2DS. What about a 2DS XL?
I can check this. I just want to emphasize this was also the $250 in 2011, where
Yes, before like minimum wage and stuff was raised. Yeah.
And then you said the 2DS XO.
Yes. I think it's like $199.99, correct?
I got emphasis original dice. It just shows me all the scalpers and shit with theirs.
Yeah.
It was anywhere between 150 to 180.
Oh my god! Like, I know it was crazy.
Yeah.
Can't trust that enough.
Yeah, and wasn't the Wii like $80 on release or something? Something like wild like that.
Was it?
How much?
I thought it was like 120.
I might have just heard that somewhere. I think. I'm looking now. Oh no. Okay, the Wii was. Wait. Oh, this is prices for. Wait. Okay, hold on. The console first launched in the United States on November 19th, 2006, priced at $250.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I thought it was more like like mid 100s, like 150 or
That's kind of
something.
expensive, but like I think for I mean like consoles are average. Like,
But I mean, keep in mind the games back then. The console was expensive, but the games were only like 30, $40. This is like specifically 3DS and stuff like that, but still.
I'm just gonna like just a comparison. Like, how much was the 360 at launch? The 360. Damn, 360 was $400.
Oh my god!
Xbox used to be a fucking fiend. Oh, okay. It was $400 for the premium. The core, like the original console itself, was
Oh. The core was what?
The core was the $300.
Okay, it's still kind of absurd, but not like
I mean,
as crazy.
like I said, the average price for consoles was anywhere between 150 to 300 back then.
Yeah, which is fine. Now it's like crazy that like the minimum's like 300 now, but
And not even anymore. The new minimum is now $450 to $500.
oh, how times have changed.
I doubt they're. I believe they actually still are making Switch 1s because they said if you can't afford Switch 2, just buy Switch 1.
Yeah, which again, 30 FPS, laggy. Yeah. That's such a shame. What, like, some of my favorite games and memories are from their games, and the fact that you just aren't allowed to enjoy them anymore is just. It's exhausting. If you're a Nintendo fan, I mean like a real one, not like a, I'm gonna just be a sheep and buy the Switch 2. And like I said, content creators, I completely understand why they have to buy the Switch 2. That's like the only amount of slack I pretty much give. If you're giving like reviews and doing playthroughs, okay, because that's your income. All right, I'm not gonna shit on somebody for their income.
I give slack to content creators. You know, I don't like it, and children. Because the console is designed for children.
You're right. And I mean, like I said, just if you're like a blown adult shilling out the money and making excuses for a company that doesn't care about you, I have no words. Okay.
No, if you still enjoy gaming but can't afford or don't want to get a Switch 2, get an Xbox and get Game Pass, or get a PC and get Steam. And actually, Steam is coming to Xbox as well.
Yes. So Steam.
Like Xbox is the way for a very consumer-friendly route to enjoy plenty of games. Or if you enjoy very in-depth story games that actually are finished, run at 60 FPS, get a PlayStation game, you know. But yeah, fuck Nintendo. I've been saying this for a while now.
Yeah, and I mean I wasn't to that level, like I said, until the Switch 2 was announced. Cause I had hope, and then they just like beat me over the head with it and skipped a rope with it. So you know.
Right. Yeah, I can't wait to see their new Pokemon Legends EA lagging of its tits
Oh
off. This
my
game's
god,
gonna get rushed.
it'll heal my soul. It'll heal my
It
soul.
already looked bad. It already looked bad in its trailer. How much worse could it possibly get?
I know. Dude, the fact that, and I think it was on a Switch 1, but if it's on a Switch 2, I just
It's gonna be
absolute serenity.
Whoa, the trailer! I think the trailer. I hope it was on. I hope it was on the Switch One.
Yeah, it's kind of my point.
Actually, no, because it is marketed as a Switch 2 game. It might have been on the Switch 2.
It would not shock me in the slightest.
God, bro. Pokemon sucks, man.
That's just.
Yeah. The follow-up needs to be studied.
I mean, for real, I cannot warrant. I cannot warrant, like, shilling out that, like I said, just shilling out the money for it. It's just so depressing. I know people are just so sad.
Woo! 60 FPS!
But I think that's it for me.
I'm out of stuff. Yeah, I'm out of stuff to say. Just
Yeah, I mean, like at this point, we're just retreading old ground. It's just being a Nintendo fan now is a mistake. Don't do it.
Don't worry, Nintendo riders. Feel free to comment. It's good for the YouTube algorithm.
Yes,
and
please,
I personally,
please,
if that doesn't, I personally will respond to each and every single one of your little queries you have.
Query is generous.
Yeah. Next month we have the July 4th barbecue tier list coming out.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
Right. And actually, I do want to address the elephant in the room for Fliffy. Right. Where the hell have we been?
Yeah.
For anyone that's actually watched this far. Or listened, I guess, because it's a podcast.
Yeah.
You can start, Dak.
Okay, so obviously I'm not here as much live streaming on YouTube because I'm over live streaming on Twitch straight up. Twitch.tv/wackadeco, hashtag shameless plug. I mean, yeah, come check me out if you want to see more of my content, if you enjoy my streams. And Tappy also streams on Twitch now and occasionally on YouTube, or at least posts the VODs on YouTube. And that's twitch.tv/Tappy with, I think, 4 Ys.
Yeah, 4 Ys.
4 Ys 69. That's Tappy, TAPPY 69. And on YouTube, I think it's youtube.com. Yeah, youtube.com. Yeah, and slash Tappy, TAPPY 69 on YouTube.
All of the links will be in the description.
Yes. So, that's where we've been. I'm an affiliate, go give me a follow, give me whatever. This channel is just mainly going to be used for podcast episodes and just general group content that isn't, that's pretty much like just us. Or honestly, we could do like even VODs that have us doing group content, so.
So just for the most part, don't expect too much over here. Like monthly uploads maybe, but
yes.
If you guys are interested in what we're doing, we have our personal stuff now.
Yeah. And don't worry, we do still, like I said, we do still collab with each other. So if you want to see group content between me and Tappy, we will be on Twitch and YouTube streaming and uploading respectively. So.
Yeah, I think that's all. Fuck Nintendo. We really I still almost kind of want to do another separate Nintendo episode just to really rear them out.
I'm always down for that. Dude, fuck Switch 2 Part 2. I'm all for it.
Bro, I think we have to hit him with the Switch 2 Christmas time rush. When more and more people get the console, and you realize how much of a disappointment that is.
I'm so excited, dude. By then, emulation is probably gonna be out, and I'm just gonna eat popcorn and enjoy the fire.
Right? Yeah. I mean, like, and there's gonna be more games out. There'll be Bonanza. There's gonna be the Metroid game, I think.
Yes, Tomodachi Life 2. Actually, no, that's 2026.
That's a Pokemon game 2026, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we won't get to see
But it's fine. Well, maybe a third one. That second and third one. Absolute cinema. Alright, I think that's all for us, though. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Like I said, links to me and Tappy's Twitch and YouTube channels will be in the description. If you enjoyed, let us know what other things you want us to talk about on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
So. Alright, that's about it. See ya.
See ya.